I have the honor to give you the Eagle Scout charge on the occasion of your elevation to the highest rank in Scouting. Boy Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most wholesome and significant movements in the world's history, and you have been counted worthy of the highest rank in Boy Scouts of America. Our country has had a great past. You are here to make the future greater. I charge you to undertake your citizenship with solemn dedication, be a leader, but lead only towards the best. Lift up every task you do and every office you hold to the highest level of service. So live and serve that those who know you will be inspired to their finest living. We have too many who use their strength and their brains to exploit others and gain selfish ends. I charge you to be among those who dedicate their skills and ability to the common good. Build a world on solid foundations of clean living, honest work, unselfish citizenship, and whatever others say or may do, you leave behind yourself a record of which every scout may be justly proud. Will everyone please rise as together may he rededicate himself by repeating the scout oath.
On my honor, I will do my best to guard my country and to obey the scout law and to help people at all times and to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
By the authority vested in me by the National Court of Honor of the Boy Scouts of America, it is my privilege and pleasure to pronounce you an Eagle Scout and be involved in the presentation of these awards.
We also have pins that the scouts present to their parents.
patience is not listed as one of the Scout laws, but it is definitely good. Good call. Okay. Will each Eagle Scout please call their mentor to the stage?
You're the mentor.
I'm the mentor. Okay, thank you.
You get to give me the license.
So I just want to say thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Sass.
Thanks for choosing me as your mentor. Thank you, Mahid. It means a lot to me that I was chosen for that.
No problem.
All right, so the parents could be seated. Okay, now we're going to ask Jeff if he needs to say a few words. We'll start with Jeff.
How's everyone doing tonight? Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story about West Point. It was the muddiest place ever. I had to trek through mud. I was like this. And then my sleeping bag was wet, and I had to sleep in that. But it taught me a great lesson. You have to keep going forth and persevere through the hardest of times. That's what an Eagle Scout is being about. Thank you.
How is everybody doing? Hello everyone, good evening. It is an honor to achieve this very special role. Thank you all for coming to the Court of Honor. It means really, really special. So, honestly, my career as Boy Scouts was really super easy. It was like, you always had to go through a lot of campouts, and there was just so many important things that Scouting had taught us. There was many, many important aspects to Scouting, such as leadership skills. There was also like survival skills that you also really needed, and also life lessons that you would also be learning at Scouting. So honestly, it was a bit of a hard journey. Even in Boy Scouts, you have to overcome fears. I overcame my fear of swimming because I used to be really good at swimming around like a pool of around like 5 feet, 6 feet, but then eventually when I was after going to 8 feet, I felt really nervous. But then the next time I was at the summer camp out, I ended up swimming in the 8 feet to 12 feet area, and that's one way how I overcame my fear of swimming. And because whether you're swimming at like 6 feet or even at like 11 feet, 12 feet, swimming is swimming and nothing can ever change that. And also, we may never expect how a campout can turn out, especially like the muddy West Point camp that I was there. And the thing is,
even though there was like all of the mud, there was so much of like walking, and I even noticed that even sometimes because of the wind on the Saturday afternoon, the tents were even starting to fall apart. I was even like I even was even asked that I had to set up a tent, and even though at that point that made me realize in my own head that I, as a scout, was becoming a much more older scout, and I realized that there were more younger scouts than me, and I knew that I had to be an example for the younger scouts, and that camp out kind of helped me see that. And also about the camp out, because it's muddy, you have to make what was the best of the camp out, even though the mud was kind of the bad part. The really good part was about the journey along the way, and how I made a really, really important friend. Kevin, unfortunately, he's not here today, but he's always here somewhere. And honestly, the way it is. There were also many cook-offs, and what these cook-offs taught me were the way that you had to be pre-planned, how you had to understand like how long it was going to take. You don't even know like how much time you were even sometimes going to get at the cook-off, so if you had to sometimes make a few things, adjustments at home in order to create them, and so that you could bring the stuff here and then cook everything here at the cook-off so that you would have more than enough time. I felt that I was more pre-planned, and that's kind of how I won both the cook-offs, more of the planning. Scouting teach used to be really planning because, like once again at the West Point camp, you had to realize that it was the mud, and not every location that you're going to get is going to be just like such a good green grass, not like that mud. That you have to understand to survive in any condition that life decides to throw at you. And the message for all the younger scouts is that as you may be a younger scout now, eventually once you keep ranking up to second class, first class, even star, you have to know that there will be younger scouts that will eventually become older scouts, and as you younger scouts will eventually become an older scout, it's important that you take the lessons that you're learning now and start to apply them now, because eventually when you'll be asked to do it, you might be asked at some time that you may not be realizing it, like how I was asked at a time I was not prepared for. So just take everything that you've learned now and see to it that you can do it. And these Boy Scouts is like also where we give services, and we have to give back to our own community. And if we are going to be giving back to our community, back in 2019 when the pandemic had first hit, and 2020 was the peak of it, I was part of the Mercer Mask Project, where I created almost 200 masks and like around 50 isolation gowns. So I've always been learning how to stitch. And I would like to thank my mom for helping me with this project. She was the one who told me about this, and ever since I really wanted to learn how to stitch, it was something that I couldn't have said no to. I was also part of a research project for farming for my local museum at the Wyckoff House in Plainsboro. That also taught me more about like how job life is. You have to be on time. It's just really important that to do the services, scouting is teaching us a lot of important things, a lot of morals, and it's important that we see to it and set forth in our life that we follow these morals, follow the principles that scouting truly gives us, and that even as an Eagle Scout till this day and onwards, both me and Jeb would have to understand these principles and follow it in our own lives, whatever lives we decide to choose, whatever life we decide to take. It's always important to be caring, compassionate, passionate, nice to others, because you never know what they might be going through one way or another. So just helping them out is something that is quite important.
you for those great speeches. I think I learned from the scouts as much as they learned from me from the beat. I learned to pay attention to detail. And from Jeb, he's much more exciting than I am, so that should make sense to have more enthusiasm. They both mentioned the West Point camp. That was a pre-pandemic camp we went on. It was the worst camp I've ever been on. If you want to ask more about that in the reception, feel free.
It ended up being my favorite camp out, though. The way how we perceived the camp out, someone might not like that camp out, but I ended up liking it, especially because of the friends and their journey along the way.
Yeah, so we all learned something from it, so that was good. Only a small number of scouts actually earned the rank of Eagle, so Jeb and me, you've done a very, very good job. All right, but one more time, just please give a round of applause to Jeb. I declare this Eagle Court of Honor closed. Aurelio, can you please come up and do the benediction?
Today is the beginning of a brand new journey. I can waste it or use it for good. What I do today is important because I am exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place what I have traded for it. I want it to be gain, not loss, good, not evil, success, not failure, so that I shall never regret the price that I paid for today.
Thank you, Aurelio. Mason? Can you please start the closing?
Day is done.
All right, so we have a tradition where we always cross our hands and form a circle at the end of every meeting, and also do the word of honor. So please, everyone, please join in.
Make it a big circle. You can make it a big circle. Make it a big circle.
अभी हल रहा मोबाइल पे गो अभी मोबाइल टेक्स्ट से डायल कर
From the lakes, from the hills, from the skies, all is well, safely rest. God is nigh. May the grace come after all great love, see, then blessed be.
Be prepared. We are prepared.